Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm a mother, a believer. This channel is dedicated to sharing the joys and the challenges of raising a special needs child. And today we have a special guest, my honey boo, Mr. Ampofo Jalisa's father, here to just share his journey so far with finding out from the diagnosis to how he dealt with his feelings to between us, what happened between us a bit, and everything. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have a few questions here for Mr. Ampofo. Are you ready for the questions? Are you ready for the interview?
I'm as ready as I can be.
Okay, so he's just going to be expressing himself and just letting you know, like going through his head and how he was feeling and how he dealt with the whole thing. Because I noticed that a lot of the guys, a lot of fathers do not express how they're feeling and they do everything internally. So he's gonna tell us how he's feeling, how he's doing. Okay, so I'm interviewing him now. I have a few questions here. So question number one.
Okay, I'm listening.
Did you notice anything was wrong or different before the diagnosis? Did you notice anything?
Honestly, it was. You could tell that there was something different or off about her when she was growing up, as to kids her age, like the way they were interacting with themselves. You could tell that there's something different as to the way she behaves, as to the way she interacts with other kids. You could tell, but we were all praying and hoping that it wasn't the worst, right?
What it was, yeah.
Yeah, so in as much as you know that there's something off about her, you always have this intuition within you that no, I don't want to accept this. I don't want to go this route. But yeah, at the end of the day, here we are. So
yeah, I know, here we are. So how did you feel when you first got the diagnosis? I know we're both in the same room,
right,
and I was there too, but I've already expressed how I was feeling. How did you feel? Because I know we were both in the same room, but how did you feel?
Yeah, I could remember the day vividly. We had the diagnosis over Zoom.
Yes. Oh gosh.
It was January. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember it was in winter time, and I had taken the day off to
for the meeting, right?
Yes, for the meeting, exactly. So I remember we had the assessment over Zoom. The lady said, is she able to do this? We tried that. It wasn't going as planned. She able to do that? We tried that. Nothing either. We tried a few exercises, and the conclusion of it all was she is severely autistic. Those were the words that I remember the lady saying, and honestly, I didn't want to accept it. Like, I felt like we failed her in a way as parents, that she's not as normal as she should be.
And I feel like having it on Zoom was, for me, I think it was the
difficult,
best.
yeah.
For me it was good, because if we had done it in person,
you might have
broken down, right? At least in Zoom, you can turn the camera off of you for a bit.
Right.
You can hold it, because we had to follow her around the house with the camera.
Right.
So having it done on Zoom, I think was a good thing.
It had its own advantages and disadvantages. I felt also that the disadvantage part, it kind of felt like it wasn't as intuitive or as interactive as it should be if it was in person versus over being on Zoom. Because being on Zoom, the assessment felt a bit dry to me. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you felt like maybe she could have done more things in person to show that she's not this severe.
Yes, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I personally didn't want to accept it. So for over, like, anything that had to do with her for almost 2 years, I didn't want to even touch it. Yeah.
Probably just go to all the appointments.
Yes, I didn't want to accept it.
I'll go to all the appointments, but every appointment that I'll end after the appointment, I'll call Justin. He was at work. I'm still really surprised you've still kept working, because I'll call him and be like, this and this and this is what they said. And like, I didn't even like driving, but I will still drive. I remember driving all the way to Fort Saskatchewan, getting her ear tested. Right. And I was hoping, it's bad to say this, but I was praying. I'm like, God, please let them just say that she has like something wrong with her ears. Right. And that came out. She passed it, flying colors. Right. It was a bit depressing to find out there's nothing wrong with her ears, because if that was the case, then we can fix it, right? Hearing aid, something that we can do. Mm-hmm. But with autism, like,
it's different. What do you do with it? Because most people don't know. I personally felt like I didn't know much about it until Jelisa got diagnosed with it, and that's the hard part about the entire journey, that you don't know what to do to help it, right? You as a parent, you feel helpless. That there's this issue with your child per se, and you don't know how to help her. Like, there's nothing you can do.
And you're supposed to be her caregiver,
right.
Protector.
Right.
And you feel
helpless.
I know this question, for me, I know it did, but I'm not sure about how you feel about it. Did you think this journey affected your marriage in any way?
I mean, yes.
That's a kind of word.
It's hard, because even the Bible says that can two people not agree on the same thing? If they have one purpose, they can agree on the same thing and they can achieve it. Which I'm paraphrasing it, but Amos 3:3 says it best. But the issue that I find was, because I was so per se overwhelmed and in my own world, trying to deal with it in my head. Unfortunately, most men are built that way, that we deal with things in our head, not necessarily voice it out.
Oh, God, I think that's bad for me, because I was always like vocal. Right. I was always vocalizing, right?
Yeah. But we all have our ways of dealing with it. But I dealt it with the fact that I felt like I couldn't take it. I felt like I was helpless, so I would just use work. Work was my go-to excuse, especially when it came to appointments with her. Sarah would say, there's this appointment, can you come? No, I don't want to come, I have to work.
And because I was working 3 days a week, so everything
was on,
and it was draining. As much as I love my daughter, it was very draining. Like I said, I didn't like driving, but I would still go to all these appointments. And when you go and they keep telling you like negative stuff, you're always hearing the negative stuff. And I'll just vocalize. I'll pour out my heart, tell Justin about everything. But I feel like it wasn't the same effect that I got from you, because I'm telling you and you're like, you're not there for when the specialist is telling you something. Like, I honestly, guys, it was hard for me. And I feel like when we got married, we had Jelisa right away. We didn't really have time to chill with ourselves, but we were grateful. And then this happened, and I felt like you were so distant.
Like I said, dealing with it in my head, so just felt distant. I felt like maybe escaping it is the best solution. I mean, there's this saying that when an ostrich wants to hide from his problem, he hides under, he puts its head under the sand, hoping that he cannot see the things around him. And I felt like an ostrich at that time.
Wow.
That I wanted to hide from everything. And back to the verse that I said, I'll read it out loud. I'm using the New Living Translation. It says, "Can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction?" So at the end of the day, what really opened up my eye was the very first time that I went to the AAC camp. That was like eye-opener for me.
Oh my goodness, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was really when
2 years?
I really saw that it's possible for things to be better. I feel like most parents, we try as hard as possible, but sometimes we need to also change the environment of the kids to suit what they need. Because when you go to like the AAC camp, you see different kids with different spectrums, with different diagnoses.
Oh, sorry. The AAC camp is a camp that happens every year in Edmonton, around the university.
Right.
U of A, they organize it, and it's just a camp that helps the kids use the talking device. I think I showed it in my previous video.
Yeah.
The talking device, where it's like an iPad where they can use to kind of communicate. So the camp is based on that, and there's other people from different families that come to share their stories and things like that, and it's really helpful. I feel like sometimes when things like this happen and you're newlywed, you tend to focus all your time and your energy on the child.
Right.
And I feel like it creates a void between the couple. Yes. And like, what, I'm not even gonna start preaching, but thank God for Jesus, because I feel like in situations like this, Jesus is the only thing that you hold on to, even though you cannot sometimes share your struggles or your feelings with each other, which is supposed to be easy, but and sometimes like this is not. It's just weird. And for me, I found comfort in sometimes crying in my car before I get upstairs from work, or sometimes even talking to some of my friends, like my 2 close friends. That really helped. And also like just praying and asking God to be able to, and family. I think having the support of family around. But it's sad because you're supposed to be my closest family, my closest friend. And when something like this happens,
it's hard.
It pulls you apart, and you're not able to share those feelings with you.
Well, and I also think it's also based on how you take the news, as to how you dissect the news, as to how you're dealing with it emotionally. I mean, though it's easy said than done, that you need to be on the same page, talk about some of these things, but people deal with it. People are raised differently, and people deal with emotions differently. So in a case like this, it's in as much as the right way. We all know the right way of handling things, but unfortunately sometimes we find ourselves in our own bubble, right? That we do not even think or even consult each other that, how's this going? How should we deal with it? I mean, that's the base of everything.
I think it's easier when somebody else is going through it and you're like, oh, don't worry, God will do it, it's fine.
It's definitely.
It's different when you're walking through it yourself. I don't know. I feel like God was the glue that kept us together. Like I said, sometimes I'll cry in my car before I get upstairs. It seemed like on the surface, it seemed like everything was fine. But internally, like I was dealing with it differently. You were dealing with it differently. And I don't want to go back to that or go back in time. But I feel like what I know now, I think would be different if, because I feel like we've been through a lot. We've been through it, and now we are at this point where we can even sit here and talk to people about it. The guilt, the shame. I don't know. This thing, it may seem very normal to everybody, but to me, it felt a lot different. And not being able to share with a person that is supposed to be your everything, it makes it really hard. It makes it really hard.
But the downside of it all, or for me, the eye opener of the entire thing was the AAC camp that we went to. I believe it was sometime in the summertime, and that's when I saw the potential of Jalisa, or even any child with being on the spectrum can move away from quote unquote being on the spectrum and becoming more of a normalized child. And
if you can talk to the guys out there that have special needs children, like, what can you say that will help the spouse, like say their wife, be able to talk to them or communicate, so that they can deal with this issue? What can you tell a couple right now that are struggling, or they're going through this time that we've been through? What can you tell that couple? Or what can you tell the wife how you dealt with it, or how you would have preferred me to talk to you or relate to you in that time?
That's a very hard question, but I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Men are built differently, to the point that we, as I've already said, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, it seems like men, we internalize a lot of things. But usually there's a small window that you can get with us, especially when we are relaxing or maybe eating. Those are the best times to bring up some of these things and just have a heart-to-heart talk about it, because I feel like that is one thing that was missing, like based on the fact that we are both internalizing. You were vocalizing it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
But I was internalizing it. So it felt like we are not matched. We are not on the same page. We are focused on the issue or the problem differently. So I think, in as much as I know most men would know when I hear this, I feel like talking about it really helps, knowing what to do next in every situation. Talking to friends and family, especially people that have gone through that same experience, they could help you out, who can, someone who is a mentor.
You would have preferred if I spoke out, been like just in his distance, and come talk to somebody about it?
Yeah, but you see, there's always the tone. Sometimes, the tone might be a bit harsh at times. Maybe the person, had a real bad day that day, and you just don't want to pounce on him with all this information. But the best time is usually when the person is eating, or when you guys are laying down about to sleep together for the night. Maybe spend 10-15 minutes talking about what the expectation is for the child and all that.
Sometimes I feel like, maybe not all men, but sometimes even for you, like, I know when you're about to sleep, you unwind with your phone, which sometimes I feel like it's much. But anyways,
but
So how do I get you to put your phone down?
You can.
That's the $1 million question everybody wants to know. How do I get you to put your phone down?
You can't. But I mean, there's always that small window, maybe before
you grab the phone.
You grab the phone, or before you.
I get you. I'm just playing. I understand what you're saying.
But I feel like it should be intentional. That conversation that you're gonna have, that you should tell the person, oh, maybe I need your full attention. I need you to really meet me halfway. Let's discuss this, right? That, it's hard. It's hard, having a normal child, and it's even harder having a special needs kid. Right?
So you prefer to just keep trying, but don't be nagging all the time, but keep trying.
Yeah, but you might not get everything that you want out of me at that point in time, but
gradual
process. Yeah,
gradual
especially
process.
with men. Unfortunately, most men we are like babies.
Yes.
But anyways, that's for another day.
How did you deal with it, both in the marriage and internally? Like for us, I remember the trip to Calgary. When we met, we met a friend, and she sat us down and talked to us, and she's also a therapist. That's one thing, people like us, Black people, Ghanaian people, we don't think we need a therapist. We don't think that it's useful, or we're just gonna pray about it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I always say, you do your part and God takes care of the rest. And I think having people around us, like mentors, like Pastor Soa, Stella, and also meeting with Sally that day, really transformed the way we felt about each other, the way we
approached the
situation. Me saying, oh, don't do like this, let me do it. I can do it because I'm the one that's going to all the meetings. I'm the one that plays with her most. Being too harsh on her, it helped me to learn to step back a bit, even though it was hard, because Jaleesa's my baby. And I know she's your baby too, but being the mother, I think
you have that connection.
It hits a bit differently.
Definitely.
And I think meeting with her that Sunday afternoon was really, really good for us. And you know what? Don't fall under those stereotypes that it's therapist. What are they gonna tell me? I think it's a good idea to have it, or even if you have somebody, like I said, Pastor Soa and Sister Stella,
to talk to
and
express yourself.
Yes, that really helps. Some of the things you can't tell your mom, you can't tell your dad. Even though I have a really good relationship with my mom, you need somebody to confide in.
Right.
And I think those two people really, really helped us. And we still talk to them now. We still reach out to them. We've added more mentors to our repertoire. But that really helped, because I think it helped me to understand how you're feeling, when I should back off, when I should enter, come in.
Yeah, definitely. And it definitely helps to have people that you can definitely talk to, especially people that have gone through that same experience, like I already said. Because sometimes you feel like you're doing it all, you're giving it your best, but there might be maybe one little thing that you can add to the twist to make it a perfect twist for the child. And in as much as they are special, one thing we also need to realize is they are still normal kids, regardless of that speech impediment or that spectrum that they are on. They are able to function well in society, just that they need special help and special treatment, like the special, something special about them. So you need to hold them dear to your heart as much as an egg, right?
Yeah.
So we have to first know that they are normal kids, irrespective of the spectrum that they are on, and yeah, treat them as normal as you can.
And one person told me this, that sometimes if you don't sell your illness, you will never find the cure for it.
Right.
Mama Emily told me that. And I think it's, it has helped me. Doing this YouTube thing, trying to talk to people that are going through the same situation has definitely helped me too.
Right.
Like, it has given me this freedom to be able to express myself, to be able to go out and feel comfortable in my situation. Because at first, I kind of felt better before I started the channel, but doing this channel has also helped me to understand that I'm not going through this alone, because a lot of people have reached out that they're going through this as well. And I feel like if this will help one person, help one child, we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Definitely.
And remember, we are not done yet. There are days that we'll go to church and we'll feel exhausted, or we'll feel like we didn't hear a word of preaching, and we'll come back home like, okay, let's just leave this program, let's just go home because there's no point. But we still continue to push forward.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. And another thing that I want to commend you on is you taking the time with Jaleesa for the homework time every night. That is really important. And I find that because I've been with Jaleesa for so long, like we play together, like the attention that she gives me is different from the attention she gives her father. So one thing I want to tell the guys out there, or the fathers out there, that if you know that your child responds better to you, like, don't say I don't have time. Take that time to be able to help them in the areas where you can help. Because I find when Justin teaches Jaleesa something, she picks it up, she soaks it up a little bit faster.
I remember we were speaking to a friend whose child is on the spectrum as well. And when I told them that, Jaleesa is able to write the alphabet by herself, she's like, are you sure that's even possible? I'm like, no, you have to dedicate time towards it. In as much as I have a busy schedule, that is one thing I'm thankful for, that regardless of whatever happens, even if I'm home by 8, I'll make sure that at least, if not anything, go through her alphabet or read the book to her, as much as like 5 minutes. But I think at the end of the day, one thing that one mentor told me, and I think it has stuck with me, is like, everything that you do, you have to be intentional about it. And I think that we cannot overemphasize on that you need to be intentional about it, irrespective of if your child is special needs or not. Everything that you do has to be intentional. You need to meet a goal that you want to focus on. So yeah, I'm not saying this specifically for special needs per se, but I'm saying that in general as parents, that regardless of whatever you do, you need to be intentional. The playtime that you have with your kids, the homework that you do with them, like everything that you do with them, it has to be intentional.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and for talking and for expressing yourself today, because every day I'm the one talking. I can talk for days. Yeah, don't. But thank you for expressing yourself and letting people know like how the male perspective is. And if you have any questions at all concerning how, or something that you did not mention, feel free, leave a comment down below. And remember, God is the one that's holding us together.
Right.
God is the glue in this relationship and in this family. So if you have God in your life, everything will work out. It will work out for good for those who love the Lord. So keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video for someone who's lost or who needs this motivation, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye. Say bye, baby. say bye-bye.
Bye.